Hello, guys. Welcome back. All right, so today, guys, you're doing two things. You're going to be continuing your poetry project, so you should have three poems done after today. Again, the directions are on here. If you have any questions, watch the video from Wednesday. Also, you can look at the directions here, and you can look at some examples to get some ideas. Okay, so you should have three poems done by today. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at some poems, and after we're done looking at these poems, you guys will be answering some questions. Okay? All right, so for today, when we're looking at these poems, what I want you to do is I need you to take down some notes. Okay, so remember, in order to put notes on to the text, you simply go over it and then you hit this to make a comment. Okay, so I'm going to need you guys to do that. Okay? All right, so you could also highlight it and then hit insert and then comment. That's another way of doing it. Okay. All right. So we're going to read three poems and then you guys will be highlighting it as I'm going over it. Also, what you need to do is answer some questions after I'm done. All right. Let's read the poem first, one way through, and then we'll go back to it. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, eyes have been climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for eyes are still climbing, honey. Eyes are still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Okay, so, all right, now, there's definitely a lot of symbolism here, okay? And the symbolism is when something stands for something else. Okay, so the poem is mother to son. So the speaker is the mother. Okay, that's kind of important. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Okay, so let's highlight this here. This is kind of an important idea. Okay, so life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So if you think of what crystal is a very fine glass and it's very expensive. So life for me ain't been no crystal stair. What is she trying to say here? She's trying to say that life has been hard. Okay? She compares it to this crystal stair. And it's had tacks in it, splinters, and boards torn up. Okay, now tacks, splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet. So let's look at these two ideas first, tacks and splinters. Okay, those are things that hurt if you step on them. Okay? And boards torn up and places with no carpet, bare, is right. So it's kind of like messed up. These are messed up stairs, right? If the boards are torn up and there's no carpet, it's messed up stairs. Okay, and comparing it to a crystal stair, which would be beautiful. But all the time, eyes have been a climbing and reaching landings and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. Okay, so this is kind of more important here because this person is saying even though the steps are like this, they're still going up and reaching landings. So this talks about how she has kept going even though she faced those issues. Okay? Right? It's been dark and there's no light, but she's still going up. And then here's a piece of advice. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps because you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now. For eyes is still going, honey. Eyes is still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So here she goes, and she's giving advice, right? So there's advice not to stop. And then she talks about the fact that she's still going. Okay, so again, this is kind of a symbolic poem in which the person is comparing life to a stairwell and talking about how their life wasn't nice. It wasn't that perfect. It had splinters and tacks and boards torn up. But this person's talking about, even though it's that way, they're still moving on. And they're giving advice to their son saying, listen, you need to do the same thing as me because my life wasn't so easy. Okay? All right, so you're going to answer these two questions when I'm done. All right, let's look at the second poem, Hanging Fire. I'm 14, and my skin has betrayed me. The boy I cannot live without still sucks his thumb in secret. How come my knees are always so ashy? What if I die before morning and Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed? I have to learn how to dance in time for the next party. My room is too small for me. Suppose I die before graduation. They will sing sad melodies, but finally tell the truth about me. There is nothing I want to do, and too much that has to be done. And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Nobody even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on the math team. My marks were better than his. Why do I have to be the one wearing braces? I have nothing to wear tomorrow. Will I live long enough to grow up? And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Okay, so one of the tough things to do when you are reading poetry is kind of knowing when to stop, because poetry doesn't have punctuation a lot of the times. So you kind of have to like feel where the lines need to end. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do now is we're going to look at this and we're going to kind of break it down a little bit. So this is a person who is 14 and skin has betrayed them, and the boy can't live without still sucks his thumb in secret. So obviously this is a person in who has a crush. Okay. Um, and her skin is betraying her, and she's still sucking her boy still sucks his thumb. Then she's talking about how her knees are ashy, and then she says, "What if I die before morning?" Right. So this is a person who's kind of really concerned about everything that's going on. She's like really doubtful about everything, and Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Okay, so notice that this line here, this "Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed," is constantly repeating. This is repetition. This is at the end of all of these different stanzas here. Okay, so each stanza, that's how it ends. Um, and again, you have all these different issues: the skin breaking out, the boy she likes sucking his thumbs, her knees being ashy, dying. Right? She wants to learn how to dance. Her room's too small. She keeps bringing up death. She sings about sad melodies. Uh, there's nothing I want to do and too much that has to be done. Right? So this person's really conflicted. Nobody even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on the math team. Right? Why do I have to wear braces? I have nothing to wear. So this is basically dealing with lots of different problems that kids might be dealing with, right? But being 14 years old. And then the one thing that's kind of the repetitive thing, and again, if something repeats, it's important. It says, Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Right? So this person's obviously looking for some sort of attention and looking for some answers, and she's not getting them. Okay? All right, so again, what you need to do is these two questions. All right, let's look at the last one. The courage that my mother had. That courage that my mother had went with her and is with her still. Rock from New England quarried. A quarry is a place where rocks come from. Now granite in a granite hill. Again, rock. This granite's a type of rock. The golden brooch my mother wore. She left behind for me to wear. I have nothing I treasure more, yet it is something that I could spare. Oh, if instead she left me, that thing she took to the grave, that courage like a rock, which she has no more need of, and I have. Okay, so um, this poem talks about someone who is obviously in need of something that her mother had, okay, and that she wants. And she talks about the fact that she actually treasures something that her mother gave her, even though it's not really worth much. Right? So this golden brooch, so it's the brooch that she wears. She's like, oh, I don't really need this thing, but what I really do need is her mother's what? Okay. Now, what you're going to do is answer all of these questions. When you are finished with these questions, you are going to work on your poetry. And that's it. Okay. I'll see you later.